What's up, guys? Metal Douche Mike here, episode 1 of Metal Mike's album retrospectives. And today, as you hear the music, we are doing a band called Buster Brown, which has a famous member from AC/DC on drums. Mr. Phil Rudd played in Buster Brown. You might know him from AC/DC. So let's get going. The band was formed in 1973 under the label of Mushroom Aztec Records. Their genre is rock and roll and hard rock. And their associated acts were Rose Tattoo, AC/DC, and the Ferrets. And Buster Brown was famous for having legendary original drummer AC/DC in the band. So, this band featured Angry Anderson on vocals, Phil Rudd on drums, Bobby Lloyd on bass guitar, Jordy Leach on rhythm guitar, and Dallas Digger Royal on drums. As we'll go to the history of the band was formed in 1973 with Angry Anderson on vocals, who was previously in bands such as Peace Power and Purity, which were bar bands in Australia, which played around Melbourne, Sydney, those parts of Australia. And the band's original founding members in 73 was Gary Angry Anderson on vocals, Mr. John Moon on guitar, Mr. Paul Grant on guitar, Phil Rudd on drums, who was previously in a band called The Colored Balls, which is Phil's high school band. And with which they met keyboard player, which was Chris Wilson, who played in a band called X Ash Chook, and Ian Ryan on bass guitar, which was also in the same band with Chris Wilson. And they enjoyed local notoriety in 73 and 74, and they played a lot of local festivals, such as the 1974 Sunbury Festival, which is an iconic festival because that's the first festival that AC/DC performed live with Bon Scott. Then later on in 74, late 74, they go into the studio and they only make their one debut album, which is called Buster Brown, Something to Say. And this album was recorded in roughly a short time period. It only took the band 3 months. It only took the band a month to write the lyrics. It only took the band another couple of months to finish the album and release it. And it was successful in Australia, but it never went international. So like I said, the Something to Say album as a whole with the band, their debut album. You know, all tracks are written by Angry Anderson, Paul Grant, Jordy Leach, John Moon, and Phil Rudd, and Chris Wilson. And we kick off the album with a track called Rock and Roll Lady, which is an original written song by the band, which has a track length of 4 minutes and 40 seconds, and it's a killer ripping tune. Lots of good instrumental stuff on it. Then you have the second song, which is a song called Let Me In, kind of a prog hard blues bar song, and it's really good. It clocks in at 3 minutes and 51 seconds. You have Buster Brown, the title track for the band, and it's another great rockin' tune. It's a good song. Then you have the only cover song, which is a Chuck Berry song, Roll Over Beethoven, tracking in at 4 minutes and 47 seconds, and it's another killer song. You have another song which has that progginess from Let Me In. This song's called Young Spunk, tracking in at 6 minutes and 8 seconds. It is the longest song on the album. It's pretty good. I would recommend listening to it. You have the next song, track 6, Apprentice, another prog bar song. And it's just like track 2 and track 5. It is really good. Then you have the title track, Something to Say. And this album as a whole, you're getting what you get. You get a little prog, you get a little bar band, rock and roll. You kind of get a little jazz blues on one of the songs. And it's a really good album. I would recommend listening to this. If I had to rank it, I mean, it's their only studio album. I'll give it a 7.5. It is a really good album. It's an obscure album, obscure band that was only famous in Australia for a real short bit. I would give them a recommend because, hey man, they're really good. So this has been a Metal Mike's album retrospective. Remember, Keep everything metal. Subscribe, like, share, hit that bell, and I will see you on the next one. Because rock and roll ain't noise pollution, man.